Hello everyone and welcome back to YCamp. My name is Scotia. I'm here in beautiful Muskoka, Ontario at YMCA Camp Pinecrest, and today we're doing some campfire baking. So what we're gonna make today is some scrambled brownies. Now most of you probably had brownies, but scrambled brownies are a real trip classic. So you're gonna need 1 1/3 cup flour, 1 cup of water, a 1/2 cup of butter, 2/3 cup cocoa, 2 cups of white sugar, 2 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a little pinch of salt. So that's all we're gonna need for our ingredients. And then we're gonna need a bowl and a spoon and a pan and a spatula. And we're also gonna need a fire glove. Because we're cooking on a fire, things get nice and hot. So we need a leather glove that doesn't have any holes in it, it's not wet, and it's gonna help protect us when we're working near a fire. Great, so before we get started, we're gonna do a quick riddle. So here it goes. I'm my tallest at my youngest and my shortest at my oldest. So think about that a little bit and we're gonna come back to it. And one more time. I'm my tallest at my youngest and my shortest at my oldest. So just take a think on that, and at the end we'll wrap up and we'll figure out what it is. All right, so I have all my ingredients laid out over here. They're pre-measured. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my bowl and my spoon and my sugar. And I'm gonna dump my sugar in here. Great. And then I have my butter. And I'm gonna put that all in here. And I'm gonna mix my butter and my sugar together. So we call this creaming your sugar and your butter together. So if you wanna use margarine, you can, but we're gonna just mix this all together until I'll show you the consistency. This is also one of those things, I'm not really mixing, I'm more pushing down with the back of my spoon. I don't know if you can see that. I'm pushing down to kind of get them all together. And you can see how it's kind of having this nice yellow paste. So this is all combined. And you can see it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like Play-Doh. That's what it kind of looks like when you've creamed those together. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my flour and my cocoa powder and I'm gonna mix them together. And you know what? I only brought 1 spoon, but the best part about cooking outside is that sometimes you can just use a stick. And this is often what gives campfire food that kind of nice flavor. So just gonna mix our cocoa powder and our butter together. Oh, I'm flying it around a little bit, but that's okay. You know, campfire cooking, it's always a little bit messier than you think it's gonna be. Okay, so I have my cocoa and my flour together, and then I'm gonna take my baking powder, and I'm just gonna do 2 1/2 teaspoons, and I'm just gonna eyeball it a little bit. But if you're at home, you can definitely get your teaspoons out. Make sure you're doing the right amount. All right, I'm gonna mix that all together. Mix, 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 mix. So I see that I've already added a little bit of stick into my batter, so I can pull that out if I want. Okay, so once these are mixed, our wet ingredients and our dry ingredients, I'm gonna add them together. Before I do that though, I'm gonna take a cup of water, and I have it in this little container here with me, and I'm gonna just add it to my creamed together butter and sugar. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that on the ground. I'm gonna mix it together, mixing, mixing. And once that's all mixed, I'm gonna take my dry ingredients and I'm gonna plop them in there. All right, so mixing, mixing, mixing. Made a big mess. That's okay though. It's all part of the fun, making a little bit of a mess, huh? So I'm actually gonna get down here just to get a better stance. And remember, when we're by a fire, we either want to be sitting up on something far away, or we want to be down on our knees. We don't want to be standing, running around a fire. That's not safe. You might have also noticed that my hair is up today. And the reason that I have my hair up is that my hair is really long. And I want to make sure that I'm staying safe when I'm around the fire. And part of that is making sure my hair is out of my eyes and out of the fire. So we want to keep it nice and pulled back. All right. So I have some dough on my spoon still, so I'm going to use my stick and just push it all off. Oh, I see some nice butter and sugar in the back there too. Want to make sure that's in there. And then mix it all together. Yum. Yum, 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 yum. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pan and I'm going to heat it up over the grill. So just plop it on there. I'm going to wait for it to heat up a little bit. I might shuffle around my fire a little bit while I wait too, to make sure that the coals are right where I want them to be, which is underneath where I'm cooking. Oh, it's getting smoky. So we don't want to put our hands right in the fire because that would be dangerous. Yeah. All right. Next steps. I'm going to put on my fire glove. I'm going to bring over my batter over here. So again, when we're by the fire, we want to be down on our knees. So I'm going to get down on our knees to do this. Also, my grill is looking a little unsteady. So, oof. Oh my goodness, it's smoky. So I'm just going to move it a little. And with my fire glove, I moved it. I moved it just a little bit. Great. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your spoon. Oof. You can take your spoon. I think I need to move. Oh my God. Oh. It was too smoky over there. So you're gonna take your spoon and you're gonna just plop some of that in there. And I don't know if you guys can hear that sizzle, but I can, because our pan is nice and hot. Okay, so you're gonna cover the bottom of your pan as best you can. Sometimes our pans are a little, are a little tilted, and that's fine. So remember, we'll always have our fire glove on when we touch the pan or anything hot. And we're just gonna let that cook for a little bit. And just like with scrambled eggs, we're gonna kind of move them around in the pan, right? I can see that there are chunks already forming in the pan, and that is all our nice brownie pieces starting to mold together, which is really great. So while we wait for this to cook, I have a couple jokes for you, and I also have the answer to that riddle. So my first joke is, what do you call cheese that isn't yours? This is my personal favorite joke. That joke again is, what do you call cheese that isn't yours? It's nacho cheese. I really like that joke. I think it's really funny. Cheese is one of my favorite foods because it's obviously delicious. And then my second joke for you, I think that most people would have heard this, is, how do you get a Kleenex to dance? Well, you put a little boogie in it, of course. Oh, that's a good one right there. So we're just gonna let this cook, and then we're gonna check back in on it in a little bit. But I can see, actually, now that I'm looking at it, there is a need to flip this again. So I'm gonna take it off the fire and I'm gonna put it down on a rock. Making sure not to put it on a grass or anything like that, but put it down on a rock. I'm gonna scrape it all up. Oh yeah, this is looking good. Oh, yep. This is really starting to come together. Love this. All right, I think it won't be long now until we are good to go. The best thing about this recipe also is that there's no eggs in it. There's nothing that's gonna hurt you. So I know I like my brownies to be a little bit gooier. So you're totally cool to do that. So you can cook them until you want. They don't have to be cooked all the way through, which is really great. All right. So it looks like my brownies are actually done. So exciting. So, oh my goodness. So I don't know if you can see super well, but in our pan we have like big hunks of brownies and little hunks of brownies, and they're all really good. It's a really easy sharing way to do brownies because everyone can get a little bit, which is really awesome. So that is scrambled brownies, camping classic. I hope you enjoyed it. Before we leave though, of course, I will tell you the answer to our riddle. So as a reminder, the riddle was, I am tallest at my youngest and shortest at my oldest. And the answer you might have is a candle or a pencil. So both of those answers are correct. So if you think about it, a pencil is really big and long when it's brand new, and by the time it's all done, it's really, really small. And same with the candle. When you start, it's nice and big, you burn it down, and it gets really small. So that's a tricky riddle if you want to use it with your friends and family. So I hope you enjoyed today making scrambled brownies and that you've been following along at home for all of our other videos as well at ymcahome.ca/YCamp, and you're submitting all your work to get your virtual badges towards your passport. Make sure you subscribe and follow us so you can see all the fun things that we're doing. And if you feel like you'd like to give a donation to your local YMCA, we encourage you to do so. So we'll see you next week, and we hope you enjoyed.